John McCain is oud-presidentskandidaat en senator voor de Republikeinen en in de Verenigde Staten natuurlijk. En hij is ook criticaster van president Obama. Hij staat bekend als een hardliner als het om Amerikaans buitenlands beleid gaat.
John McCain, Amerikaans senator voor de woestijnstaat Arizona. 2-maal verliezend presidentskandidaat voor de Republikeinse partij. Telg uit een militair geslacht. Ruim 5 jaar krijgsgevangene in Vietnam. En na zijn entree in de politiek een eigenzinnige havik. Een man die van zijn hart geen moordkuil maakt. Er is bijna geen buitenland van Amerika waar McCain zich niet mee bemoeit. En dus ook met Oekraïne, waar hij steun betuigt aan de nieuwe machthebbers.
The free world is with you. America is with you. I am with you.
McCain is geen vriend van Poetin en na de crash van MH17 aarzelt hij dan ook niet de daarvoor volgens hem verantwoordelijke aan te wijzen.
First, condemn Vladimir Putin, who's responsible for this outrageous act.
Zijn oplossing na de crash? Bewapening van Oekraïne, zoals Rusland de separatisten van wapens heeft voorzien.
I think it's cowardly of us not to give the Ukrainians the weapons they need to defend themselves against invasion of their country.
Geheel in stijl pleit McCain voor pittige economische sancties tegen Moskou.
Eerder vanavond sprak ik met senator McCain. Hij herhaalde zijn pleidooi om de regering in Kiev te bewapenen.
I think that it is very important that we give the Ukrainians weapons with which to defend themselves. This is a situation which has clearly gotten out of control and one that horrifies all the world.
But wouldn't giving the Ukrainian government weapons lead to an escalation of the conflict?
Well, I guess that's one way of looking at it. The other way is that weapons and armored vehicles continue to pour in from Russia into eastern Ukraine in violation of Ukrainian sovereignty. I would hope that most people would believe that countries that are invaded in such fashion should be aided in defending their sovereign territory, just as Vladimir Putin, in violation of a Budapest agreement that guaranteed territorial integrity of Ukraine, including Crimea, is now dismembered Crimea, and obviously nothing has been done about it, not by the Europeans or by the United States of America. So when countries are invaded in such a fashion as they are by Vladimir Putin, it seems to me it's up to us to give them weapons with which to defend themselves, which I believe possibly could have regained the territory that's been taken from them and may have, and I emphasize may, have prevented this tragedy.
Dutch Prime Minister Rutte is seeking support to send an international police force to Ukraine to secure the crash site. Do you support his plan?
Yes, I do. But again, that crash site is ultimately controlled by Vladimir Putin. If Vladimir Putin instructed his stooges, and they are his stooges, Russian citizens, to fully cooperate with the investigation, then they would do so. It's not much more complicated than that.
Do you think, in your opinion, the US should participate in such an international police force?
Oh, I think it'd be fine if they did that. I think that every country should do what they can to assist in this time of great tragedy. But what we should also be doing is condemning Vladimir Putin himself, imposing strong sanctions, giving the Ukrainians economic and military assistance, because by destabilizing the industrial area of Ukraine, the economic difficulties of Ukraine are far, far more severe. Redeploy and reinvigorate our missile defense systems, redeploy our NATO allies into the region, and send a message to Vladimir Putin that he will earn the condemnation of the entire world. Now, that's what I would like to see. What's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing is going to happen. The Europeans will talk about it, but as long as they are dependent on Russian energy, they won't do anything about it, and that, to me, is very saddening.
You don't think that the European Union will impose strong sanctions onto Russia?
I'm sure they won't. Not until they're independent of Russian energy and standing by and watching while Ukraine is being invaded and destabilized by Vladimir Putin reminds one of some of the things that happened in Europe in the 1930s.
One of the rebel leaders, Chodorkovsky, just admitted that the separatists did in fact have a Buk missile system. What do you make of this confession?
Not surprising. You know, everybody seems to be focusing on who actually pushed the button that fired the missile. That's not the cause of it. The cause of it is Vladimir Putin, who moved equipment and troops into Ukraine from Russia, including sending in his thugs, which then set the table for this kind of accident. And it was an accident. They shot down Ukrainian planes before, and today apparently they shot down 2 more.
What do you want to be the response then?
I want condemnation of Vladimir Putin personally. I want sector sanctions, not just individual sanctions, but sector sanctions. I want Ukraine to receive military assistance so they can defend themselves. I want reinvigoration of missile defense systems. I want redeployment of troops on a temporary basis to areas around the periphery of Russia. And most of all, and most importantly, recognize Vladimir Putin for what he is, a KGB colonel who is bent on restoring the old Russian Empire. He's the one that said the worst disaster of the 20th century was the dismemberment of the Soviet Union. Recognize him for what he is and treat him accordingly.
Mr. McCain, thank you very much.
Thank you. And again, my thoughts and prayers, and all Americans, are with the people of your country tonight. And God bless. And hopefully they will find comfort in the knowledge that they had the love and affection of those that they have lost.